Hey everyone, so I am recording a tutorial. It is based off of the movie Paper Towns. I took my inspiration from Margo Roth Spiegelman. She just has this beautiful natural looking makeup through the majority of the movie. The picture that I really looked at to take inspiration from, I will have linked below so you can kind of compare the two looks. Just a very natural looking look, and it doesn't take a lot of effort, very effortless. So if you want to see this super easy tutorial based off of Margo Roth Spiegelman, please keep watching. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to prime. I'm using my MAC Painterly Paint Pot. You can use anything. I would suggest using a matte primer that has no color. Well, this has like a slight color to it, but if you want a color, it's not going to be anything dark. You just want something very matte and natural looking. So once that's on, Margo Roth Spiegelman, I always want to call her Margo Thomas Roth Spiegelman. Her makeup is just like super natural. In the picture will be linked below, but just very minimal makeup. So I'm taking my MAC eyeshadow in the color Saddle, and this is from Sonia Kashigui. It's just like a blending brush. I'm very lightly going to blend some color in the crease. And it's okay if it gets a little bit darker because you're just going to blend it out with your finger to make it look more natural. Okay. That's literally all you want to do. You don't even want hardly any definition. You just want like a slight amount of color in your crease just to give it some type of definition, but nothing too noticeable. Next, I am just going to go in with a super white highlight. This is the NYX Whipped Cream white eyeshadow, and I'm just going to put that up on the upper eyebrow. You don't want anything with shimmer. It's just very natural looking. You just want it to lift the eyebrow. The brush I'm using is the Sigma F70 concealer brush, but I really like how light it is to like get the color up there. So you're just going to put that right there. It's super natural looking. You don't see it, but you can see the effect that it has when it lifts your eyebrow. Next, I'm going to take you want an eyeshadow that's a little bit darker than your skin tone. This is the NYX eyeshadow in Immaculate. It's a super light color, so it wouldn't look like it's lighter than my skin tone, but when you put it on, the actual effect, it is slightly darker than my skin. I'm just going back in with that F70 brush, and very lightly just going to like put that on the lid. Oh my gosh, and I did not mean to say darker. I meant you want the eyeshadow to be like one shade lighter than your skin tone. You don't want it to be like super natural, but not very noticeable. Once you're satisfied with that, I'm just going to go back in with whatever product's left and just add a little bit more brown. Okay. Next, I didn't have any other coppery color, so I'm using my Naked palette, just the original one from Urban Decay, and I'm going to use the color Smog. She has this really beautiful coppery liner on her top lashes, so that's what we're going to use. I'm just using an e.l.f. angled brush, and first you're going to wet it, but mine's already wet from the first application, just so you can pick up more product. But once it's wet, get some product on there, and you're just going to line the top lash line. And you're not going to do it super thick, but not super thin either, just a nice in-between line. You want to be able to see it. But you use water to brighten up whatever color it is that you're using to make it more noticeable. Next, whatever's left on that blending brush that you use with whatever brown you use, you're just going to want to bring that down slightly just to darken up the under eye area a bit. Once that's done, I really liked using the same color that I used on my eyelid on my inner corner as a highlight, so just go ahead and go back in with that. Really, I should have done it whenever I put the eyeshadow on, but I completely forgot. It's super light. Next, I'm going to slightly curl my eyelashes. She didn't have like a crazy curled look, so we don't need to do anything there with false lashes or anything, I personally feel. And I like a lot of mascara and super curled lashes, but I'm just going to not do that with this look. Her eyelashes were very natural looking. I lost my mascara. Where is it? Oh, it's right here. I'm going to use this Buxom Show Off Black mascara. I just think it's a pretty natural looking mascara. So just very, very lightly coat that. And you're going to very lightly pop a little bit of this on the bottom lash line. Now for the brows, her brows are so gorgeous and unkempt and amazing. My brows are just not like that, but I'm just going to darken them up and not apply a brow gel because her eyebrows are just so, they're super natural and like, I'm sure they do fill them in somewhat, but they don't look like they tame them in any way, so I'm not going to do that. I'm using my Naked Basics palette to use this dark brown color in Faint, which is the color I use anyways, but I feel like it's dark and I don't want to go any darker with my eyebrows, so I'm just not going to. I don't feel like it would work for my face. I'm taking my MAC 263 brush, just the angled eyeliner brush. I am going to make my eyebrows slightly thicker than I normally do, just as a tip of my hat to Margo Roth Spiegelman. I just think her eyebrows are just so fantastic, and I'm sure I read in an interview that she said people like really, really made fun of her as a kid, but like they're just so beautiful. But not that I don't feel like I would want that thick of eyebrows. I just don't feel like I have the face for it. But on her, they look so good. And then I'm just going to go back in with my spoolie and just kind of like mess up my eyebrows and not comb them back perfectly. Okay, so I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. But basically what we're going to do is put on a foundation. I am using my Garnier BB cream for the combination to oily skin. I feel like Margo Roth Spiegelman had a very natural looking face. Like nothing dewy, but I feel like not super matte. Like I feel like her look was just very natural and not, like barely there makeup, which I think just looks stunning on her because her features just do everything they need to do. She doesn't need any crazy makeup. So once that is on, I'm going to put blush. I feel like her blush was super natural. I've said that so many times. But again, just barely there. So I'm going to use my e.l.f. HD blush in the color Headliner. I'm just going to squirt a little bit of that on the back of my hand and just dab it on with my fingers. And I'm going to use my Beauty Blender to blend it out. I don't know if I will ever go back to using like a foundation brush again. I just think sponges are so versatile that you literally don't, like it's the only thing you need. So I feel like I'll never go back to just using brushes again. Okay, once that's on, I'm going to put on a little bit of foundation. I did look at the picture very closely and she did have a slight contour and just a little bit of bronzing going on in her face. So I'm going to take my NARS Laguna bronzer and just a big fluffy brush, which is not what I generally use to apply my bronzer, but I feel like that's what's going to give me like a really natural, effortless look. So I'm using my Sigma large powder brush. I have no idea where my other one is. I hate this brush because it sheds so much, which I think is completely unacceptable for the amount of money that you pay for it, but it is what it is. So just like with a super light hand, I like to use it at the end of the brush so it's like so light. Just going to put like a little bit there. And I'm just going to like dust it on my forehead, anywhere that the sun would naturally hit. And I don't feel like she had any highlighter on her. Again, her skin was very matte, so I'm just going to take a oil absorbing powder just to soak up a little bit of the extra oil that I do have on my face. I'm using my Hard Candy Welcome Matte Mattifying Powder. And I'm just going to use my Real Techniques powder brush and just dab on any areas where I feel like I have excess oil. Okay, and that is all for the face look. I will say, I already did my lips. I thought the video was recording and it wasn't. But the lips that I have on are... I feel like her lips were that beautiful, like just bitten, like natural look. And I feel like for my lip color, these colors worked. And I feel like for every lip color, it's going to need to be a little bit different just because her lips are just, they're so beautiful and like everybody's lip colors are different. So what you're going to want to go through for your specific look, I do think this is the one thing that you do need to change for yourself is just that barely there bitten look. So the color I use for myself is from the Rimmel London Kate Moss collection in the color 08. I think it's just like really beautiful dusty rose color. Put that on and then went over very lightly with this Revlon Super Lustrous Lip Gloss in the color Supernatural, which I think is so ironic because I've said the word supernatural so many times in this tutorial that's ridiculous. So that is all for this tutorial. I hope you guys like it. It's just a supernatural, beautiful look. Something that you can wear all the time, and I definitely took a lot of inspiration from Margo Roth Spiegelman in the movie Paper Towns. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thumbs up if you like tutorials, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!